Good morning. It's Friday, December 14th, and Joe Biden gave a speech the other day that he should have given 6 months ago. And I want you to listen to that speech. And I want you to listen to Mitch McConnell's response to that speech. And then I want us to think about how important that speech was and why it wasn't given 6 months ago.
I will not yield. I will not flinch. I will defend the right to vote, our democracy against all enemies, foreign and, yes, domestic. It's not just here in Georgia. Last year alone, 19 states, not proposed, but enacted 34 laws attacking voting rights. Not a single Republican has displayed the courage to stand up to a defeated president to protect our democracy. I support changing the Senate rules, whichever way they need to be changed to prevent a minority of senators from blocking action on voting rights. I've been having these quiet conversations with members of Congress for the last 2 months. I'm tired of being quiet.
The president's rant yesterday was incoherent, incorrect, and beneath his office. Yesterday, with the world's largest megaphone, he invoked the literal civil war and said we're on the doorstep of autocracy, talked about domestic enemies, rhetoric unbecoming of a president of the United States. He said our country will be an autocracy if he does not get his way. If he does not get his way. The smallest majority we've ever seen in our politics is trying to change the rules for how people get elected in every single state. That's just about the best argument for the filibuster you could possibly imagine. A president shouting that 52 senators and millions of Americans are racist unless he gets whatever he wants is proving exactly why the framers built the Senate to check his power. So what would a post-nuclear Senate look like? I assure you it would not be more efficient or more productive. I personally guarantee it.
Okay, now you've heard the speech. And now we can think about answering some very tough questions. Was it more important to save the voting rights of people than it was to give out relief funds and worry about Build Back America or Build a Better America or whatever we're calling it? Voting is the foundation of this country. It's the foundation of our democracy. And yet we put raising money and giving relief to people ahead of that. And is that what we really should have done? Was it so much more important to get people relief, to get $300 per child, to take care of all of the other important things ahead of voting rights? I think not. I wasn't thinking about this 6 months ago. And I should have been. I should have been thinking about that 6 months ago, as many of us should have been thinking about that 6 months ago. We have allowed ourselves to fall into a morass. We have become so polarized. Right now, we have two men, McConnell and Biden, battling over our polarization. And at the very center of that polarization is voting rights. Voting rights is the most important thing that's going on in this country, and we have overlooked that. We, the American people, the leadership, have overlooked the importance of voting rights. Our democracy has gone backwards. And if you look at the things that are going on, it's voting rights. And the continuing popularity among the Republicans of the false allegations of widespread voter fraud. 1 year after the January 6th riot, right? American perception about the well-documented events are severely divided along partisan lines. And those partisan lines hinge on the voting situation. The polarization of this country is only exacerbated by the big lie. And so the big lie has caused us to attack our voting rights in many regions of this country. And that cannot solve the problems of polarization in this country. The only thing that could really solve the problem of polarization is a fair voting system. A voting system that gives everybody equal rights. You know, disagreement is healthy. It's healthy if you can come together and solve things. And if you have voting rights that are equal all around the country, that would be a great contribution to the solving of the polarization in this nation. If we have a huge community that believes that the voting system was fraudulent, then we cannot overcome our differences. They will only grow greater. If we keep people from voicing their opinions through their votes, our polarization will continue to grow, and our democracy will fall further than it has fallen. And polarization is not a problem that can be solved. But it's healthy. Disagreement is healthy as long as we can manage it. It'll never go away. And that's good. It's good to have disagreement. It's good to hash things out. But it has to be managed. And a major piece of that management is the ability to have a fair voting system. You cannot stack the deck and continue to stack the deck and think that polarization is going to go away. Because it's never going to go away. In a healthy society, we need people who think differently, who disagree. But we also need the ability to come together when the time is right and do the right thing. And so I say that we made a major mistake by going after those bills to benefit people who needed financial help and financial assistance. That was a major problem. And we needed to get those bills done. But we also needed to put voting rights right up there at the top along with those bills. And so we have lost 6 or 8 precious months in this fight. And if we don't solve this problem, we will continue to rapidly fall to the bottom of the world's democracies. Are we heading for autocracy, as Biden said? Possibly. So I give you these ideas this morning to think about the time we wasted on getting around to fighting for voting rights. I leave you with that this morning, and have a great day. If you can, bye.